Hello, welcome to the Profitable Facebook Ads Preview. We're going to take a spin through the class that's going to be offered on Lawson Writers Academy this October so that you can get a feel for what the class is like and what will be covered. My name is Michelle Fox, and I have been an indie author since 2012, if you can believe that. Wow, it's been a very long time. I also run the Wolfpack, which is a reader platform and marketing platform for authors. We have an author group called Wolfpack Promotions. So if you write paranormal romance or urban fantasy or science fiction romance, or if you just want to hang out with me, you're welcome to look us up on Facebook and join us. Just be sure to answer the questions because that's sort of how we qualify people. And the questions are very simple, and you'd be surprised how often nobody answers them. So that was Wolfpack Promotions, by the way. So I started running ads, I want to say back in 2014, and I just failed. And then I failed some more, and then I failed more, and then I failed even more. So basically, I lacked that gene that other authors seem to have that caused them to be super successful with their Facebook ads. I had the Facebook failure gene, and there was no medical treatment for it. And when I started running Facebook ads, initially there were no classes, there were no best practices. People were still figuring out how everything worked and how to best monetize the Facebook platform. So it wasn't the case that I could take my stupidity and my propensity to fail to school and fix myself. I just sort of had to flail. And for a long time, that's what I did. I just failed. I was just terrible at it. Nothing worked for me. And I got annoyed after a while because the reality is I know that people like my work. I have had books go viral. I have had novels that have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. I have been a six-figure author. I have taken a box set and hit the USA Today bestseller list. So there was a big disconnect between what I knew was possible for me and what was actually happening in ads. And because I had that confidence that I knew I had that feedback from the market, I knew people liked my stuff when they found it and when they read it because I got fan mail, because I would get word of mouth. So I had that confidence in myself to go, this thing where Facebook ads isn't working for me is completely unacceptable, and I refuse to accept it, and we are going to make this work. And so I did a bunch of reading. I did a bunch of studying. Classes did start becoming available, and I started taking them, and mostly they didn't work for me. It was really the marketing research that I did on my own that allowed me to develop a way of approaching ads that worked for me and was profitable. And it's a lot of the stuff that goes into the class that I teach because not everyone has an easy time making Facebook ads or any ads profitable for them. So I figure if I can turn around a hard case like me, that I have something to offer to help other people. And so I approached Margie Lawson after I started teaching this class privately to see if she would like to offer it at Lawson Writers Academy. Lawson's Writers Academy? Oh boy, I think I'm flubbing that. Sorry. Oh boy, bad teacher. So I figured this would be a good fit because I have done the lecture packets and I've done the immersion with Margie, and some of the stuff that I do with ads is very aligned with what she teaches for fiction writing. So it's a natural fit. So this was my quote. An expert is a person who has made all the mistakes that can be made in a very narrow field. I mean, I'd like to think that I haven't made every single mistake, but I've certainly made a lot of them and then figured it out. And I figured out how to resolve them. Let's look at some of the pain points that you may be experiencing that I definitely experienced. How about running ads and no one buys the book? That has happened to me a lot. I can get great click-through rates. I can get phenomenal ads that deliver traffic like gravy, and then nobody buys. So, yeah, so I've had to learn how to address that and figure out what will work to get sales once people click. How about really high ad costs? How about CPCs that are 50 cents? Sometimes you can get ones that are even higher. And then there's always that person in the group somewhere who's like, oh, my ads are 3 cents. I don't know what's wrong with you losers. There's always that one person, who always seems mystified by the fact that what's so easy for them is so hard for everybody else. But yeah, certainly high cost per clicks. That's definitely a problem, and I've had to learn how to deal with it. How about really low clicks? So they don't click, and they certainly don't buy once they do click, and maybe you're also paying a very high price for not selling your book. That happens. I've had to deal with that too. Facebook keeps flagging your ads. I don't know why yours is capitalized. I always find my typos when I'm making the video, just FYI. I never find them when I'm proofreading. They only become visible to me when I'm recording. But yeah, flags. Basically in June of 2019, Facebook decided that everyone was a Russian troll and banned people left and right. Like perma banned, like lost their account forever, will never, ever get it back. So that was going on. I had previously a lot of issues with Facebook hassling me and my content, even though I was just trying to do everything they wanted from me, but they were still flagging me no matter what I did. And I eventually resolved that. But you have to figure out, one, how to avoid the flags that are happening now. And there's more of them than there have been in the past. And also, how do you get yourself whitelisted? How do you kind of get yourself in good standing with Facebook? I've had to figure that out. So eventually, as I went through all of this drama with failing, I eventually got better. Things eventually started working. The marketing research I did really started to fill in the gaps. It was my missing link. And so I started getting ads like this where all of my quality metrics were above average. I started to get CPCs at 9 cents. Now look at the result rate and keep that in the back of your mind, 10.53%. So 10% of my audience clicks. Just hold on to that. And then I got this one's 5 cents a click with a 12% click-through rate. And I want to say the reason why I told you kind of remember that 10% and that 12%, that's not even the highest click rate you can get. You can actually get much better click-through rates for books, but you don't need to. It's nice when it happens. It's nice when you've got everything working very well in your ad and generating a lot of response. That's awesome. And you do want to strive for that, but not all ads can be perfect. Not all books will work as well as others when it comes to ads. And so what I want to tell you is that at 10% click-through rate and 12% click-through rate, you can still make 4 figures in profit in a month. I'm doing it and it's possible. So you don't have to be perfect. Not everything has to line up perfectly. You just have to be compelling enough to get a response from the people you're advertising to. So if you can find that sweet spot for yourself, you can very easily spend very little amounts of money in ads and get a very nice return. Now then I went and progressed to this. This is a post that went sort of viral-ish. And it's a case study in the class. We talk a lot about why I did this, why it worked. Food for thought, I was not selling a book with this post. There was no book sale at all. Why would I want something to go viral that was not selling my book? What value could that have? We will talk about that in the class. So we're going to learn how to select images, what kind of images you're looking for, and we'll talk about the basics of making images so that if you don't know how to use Photoshop and you've never made a graphic for a Facebook ad before in your life, you'll at least know how to do something basic. We're not going to get, you're not going to become a Emmy award-winning graphic designer in this class, but you'll have some basic skills so that you can run ads. We will talk about ad hooks. What makes an ad compelling for readers? We will talk about ad copy for authors. So taking a lot of marketing principles that are never written for books, they're never written with authors in mind, and sort of translating them and synthesizing them so that they can work for authors. This is something that's really unique to this class. It's not done at this level of detail and analysis in any other class. We've got a nice little menu of options and tools and resources and ideas for you in your ads, and early feedback has said this is one of the most helpful things in the class. We go through ad strategies. Now, I don't believe in one true way, because if you do the math, and I don't like to do math, so I'm not going to give you any hard numbers, but if you think about calculating probability and calculating the number of potential combinations with Facebook ads, we've got so many moving parts that the combinations, the things that you can do in ads, are pretty much approaching infinity. So there's no longer any one true way. So I like to give a broad kind of view of all the different potential things you can do, as well as talk about the things that I have done. At this point, I know what works for me. I know what works for other authors that won't work for me. So I understand that it's not about doing it Michelle's way. It's about learning my way, learning the other things I've learned about ads and share with you, and kind of figuring out what your personal combination for success is in Facebook. We'll talk about the ads interface. We'll discuss metrics. We'll have some troubleshooting. We'll also have some case studies, and I'll have ads for you to look at, and we'll look at ad copy, and we'll analyze ad copy and different metrics, and I'll give you samples of what metrics might look like and ask you to make decisions so that you'll start to be comfortable with the kind of results you're going to see in your ads interface, so that you won't get data back and freeze because you're not sure how to make decisions. I'll also have us, at the end of the class, we'll move into a private Facebook group so that we can continue to talk, because it's not the case that I can just give you all this information and you're done, you're set for life. It's going to take you a while to scale it up and implement everything and see the results that you want. So I'm planning to stick it out with you for some time, and we'll have a little mastermind group where we compare notes and problem solve together. More importantly, you're hacking your learning curve. Facebook ads are actually pretty complex anymore, and it makes sense. There's a business case for spending money to learn Facebook ads so that you don't spend the years that I spent flailing, right? Flailing costs you money. Flailing has a very high opportunity cost for authors. So the faster you understand how Facebook ads work, the faster you can make them profitable, the faster your book career will grow, and your author career will grow. So you'll sell more books, you'll have a bigger brand, and your subsequent books will just do better and better and better, because everything will snowball and sort of grow over time. Okay, so I hope that kind of gives you a sneak peek and what the class is, a taste of what it's like to work with me. This video format right here is very typical of what I do. I like to use humor. I do make some custom memes here and there for the class, and I like to keep things fun so that we don't get overwhelmed and die of boredom. I like to keep things a little entertaining. So I hope you will join me in this class, and it'll be a great time. We'll have a good time. We'll learn a lot and hopefully sell a lot of books.